All right, all praise, glory, and all certainly due to the Most High, the God of the patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to you in the name of His Son, Jesus. So it's a blessing to come before you, brothers and sisters. In today's message, I want to deal with a correspondence that the church received from excuse me, from a young sister that's been listening for some time, and I'm answering in this regard. I'm answering in this manner because I felt that this would be beneficial. And this is so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read the email that was sent to the church, and then I'm gonna answer. So it says, so it's actually two major issues. First one, I'll just start off, and you'll see as I go on. Peace to you, brother Elisha. The sister says her name. She says, I have a question and want some advice. First, I would love to say I love you guys, and have still been following the household of faith for the past years. So she's been following for some time. Okay. She tells the state that she's from California, and she said that they made it mandatory for teachers to get vaccinated, and they fired 500 teachers. I'm still continuing my degrees for being a preschool teacher and expanding my early childhood development and education. In order to teach, I have to be vaccinated. But question to you uh, is, what type of advice can you give me? And I know you said it's a choice in the video. I just don't want to do anything that goes against Torah or defile myself. I just want to run it by you because I don't know. I don't want to lead myself to destruction or anything. I have been praying on it, and I want your advice on it from you, Brother Elisha. Okay, so first off, um, it is a choice in the sense of you have to make the decision for yourself. But as in to be quite honest, um, as I became more informed on how those how those jabs were made, um, it would not be my choice to take it. Um, and let me say, and because of how they were made, in addition to some other things. Um, but I will say this: if you, not saying it'll help in your situation, but I have been given brothers and sisters that are part of the household of faith. I haven't given them exemption letters. Now, secondly, um, I think you should pray any big move. I think you should pray on it. Okay. When it comes to your education, I think you should pray on it. I think you should seek God when it comes in that regard. Me personally, I don't see how anybody lives in the state of California. I'm gonna just keep it real. For not, and that's before they had these mandates. Um, California, in a lot of ways, is intolerable. Um, Much of the weather is nice, of course. It's beautiful weather. The cost of living is ridiculous. It's so liberal. It's a reason why you're having this this exodus, if you will, from California because of the policies, and people are moving from California into some more conservative states and making those places like California. Okay, it's I don't see how people live, especially places like San Francisco. I don't see how people do it. Me personally, if it were me, I would go somewhere where the cost of living was cheaper. I'd go. There's no way in the world I would live in California. Um, it just for a number of reasons, but that's one of them. And now, but again, that is a choice. But as far as the jab, I give an exemption letter, and I tell why. I explain why. Matter of fact, I might just, well, anyway. Um, if you want one, let me know, and you'll see in the letter it explains it. And I really don't actually want to get into it on here because I don't want them to take our page down. But nevertheless, I personally wouldn't take it, and I personally would move. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. Okay, there's no way in the world that I would live. I'll say that again. No way in the world that I would live in California. Okay, um, so, but like I said, I don't know your situation. You know, Now the next part of her letter, she says, or email rather, she says, also my other thing is I'm 26 and I'm a virgin. I never dated. I talked to males before, but never went on dates, or it never led to that because they're not on the same page as me, which is being obedient to Torah and being in the truth. I know my role as a woman, and I love being a woman of virtue. Thanks to you also, Brother Elisha, for keeping me on that same mindset of playing my role. I literally don't go anywhere if it's not business wise. I never ever been to a club or anything. I don't even have friends, LOL, besides Jesus himself. What kind of advice could you give me also? Because people think I'm strange, LOL. That's because you come out of the world. And let me say all praises to the Most High for that kind of mindset. And let me say this, you are a rarity. Okay, you are rare. All right, now you're rare in the sense, number one, that you're a virgin at that age. You're rare in the sense that you're a woman trying to serve the true and living God. That makes you a treasure. Okay, now just because you're a treasure doesn't mean that everybody's going to value the treasure. um, Most men will not, but the ones that will are the ones you want. And what I mean by that is a man that has that that is upright, that is moral, that is a believer will see the value in that. And so that's the one you want to, you, because you, women can be practically, any woman practically can be with whoever she want to be with, not necessarily married, but I'm saying in a sexual way. Okay, so but what you've done is you've preserved yourself, which is rare in these days. I'm gonna read something here. This is in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22. And we'll see here that a woman is supposed to be a virgin. And then I'm going to look at a statistic and see how rare that is and why it is important for a woman also to be a virgin uh, before marriage. This is Deuteronomy, the 22nd chapter. And I'm going to pick it up at verse, let's see here, verse 13. Deuteronomy 22 and 13 reads, if any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. So this is an accusation that is made by a husband who takes a wife, and he says, when I came into this woman, when he went to consummate the marriage, she was not a virgin. That is we'll see the severity of such an accusation according to Torah, which lets you know that women were supposed to be virgins before they got married. Okay, this is verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city and the gate. So now, to prove they cherished virginity so much, they had tokens of virginity. So this proved that a woman was a virgin. So this was on the bed sheet prior to the consummation, when the hymen was broken and blood would flow, etc. They kept that. That was honorable for the family. See, there's no honor today. Okay. See, so you going contrary to the world, which is in the right direction, because the world is going in 100,000 miles in the wrong direction. People's mindset is off. You talk again, you're looking at two parents. You're looking at, for example, you got T.I. for whatever you want to say about his music, whatever you want to say about him. At one point, he was trying to make sure that his daughter was a virgin, and he got flack for that. But now, on the other hand, you got another celebrity. His son want to be a girl, and he's being praised for supporting that. Like I said, the world's going ass backwards. Okay, so it says here, and the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. Now that's another thing. The father had the duty of marrying his daughter. And we could say that's so archaic. You could look at things, but look at what's going on right now. Is what's going on right now working? The answer, before you even We already know it's not. We already know things are going in the wrong direction. Look at our children. Look at our communities. Look at what's being produced. See what needs to. So if ideally, a woman would be a virgin, and her father would be in charge of marrying her to a man that is worthy. See, that's you see what's. I know this is gonna sound this is gonna sound archaic what I'm saying. So if you don't like it, get off now. Women are doing a piss poor job of mate selection. You can say whatever you want about men, but if you look statistically, there's only a few men that are getting these women. So you'll have a man that has 3 and 4 different children by 3 or 4 different women and not taking care of them. You chose that man. That's what happens when you choose. The chaos. I know it doesn't sound. I know this doesn't sound. Like I said, if you don't like this, if this is not your cup of tea, you can leave right now, because it is what it is. So ideally, a man, because one thing about a father that's there, a father wants the best for his daughter. He's looking at things you're not looking at. Can this man provide? Is this man responsible? And if you're dealing with a godly man, is this a godly brother? Is this a righteous brother? That's what he's concerned with. That's what he's concerned with. So he's going to make sure that somebody can do what he's been doing, which is provide and protect for you, so that you will go from right under your father's covering, because you're supposed to be covered as a woman from cradle to grave. It's at a midpoint where it's a transition, and that's on your wedding day, when you give your daughter away to a man, and now he's covering her for the rest of his life. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. So now, he said, I gave this man, my daughter, unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he hath given occasions of speech against her, because he said she wasn't a virgin, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. So now they had proof that their daughter was a virgin, and that the man was not being truthful. Now, and now verse 18, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him, and they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father the damsel, because he had brought up an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. So what does that tell you? That tells you that virginity was honored. You throwing away, not you, sister, that the letters addressed to, but sisters in general are throwing away virginity like it's trash. But it is honorable to be a virgin. That's what you should be before you are married. So we gathering some things. Number one, a woman's supposed to be virgin before she's married. Number two, a father should be the one who is marrying his daughter. Number three, virginity is honorable. All right? Virginity is honorable. Then it says something in verse 20, but if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. So now this is Torah. This is instruction. This is what God thinks about you being a whore. He said, let the whore be stoned. This is the word of God. So people can think, oh, that's archaic, that's misogynistic, whatever you want to say, it's the word we read it. So again, what do we find? A woman's supposed to be a virgin before marriage. We understand that marriage or being a virgin is honorable. We also understand that that you couldn't just say anything about a virgin, right? You see that man got taxed for that lie he told. But also we see the severity for not being a virgin, for playing a whore in her father's house. See, for men, that's another thing. For men to go and sleep with some man's daughter, you are defiling a woman. That is not, that's that man's, that's his responsibility. And you going behind his back and sleeping with his daughter, that's wrong. And then the man, or then the woman, you that does that, you playing a whore. You playing a whore. You got kids 15, 14, 13 years old, sneaking in windows. Parents sleep, they in there having sex. That shouldn't be. That should not be. And then you think about it, you can't take care of any. You gonna, if you do have a baby, you're gonna give them to your parents to take care of. That's no. So everything is upside down. So sister, you on the right track. You are light years ahead of what's going on around here. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. I just want to read something here, 1 Corinthians, that Paul said about marriage. Now, he said by permission, if everybody was like him, he gave his reason. But if everybody was like Paul in that regard, then we would cease to exist as a species. And as Jesus said, that's not given for everybody. But for those it is given for, they can do that. But he said something. I'm going to pick it up at 1 Corinthians 7:36. It said, but if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely or unseemly toward his virgin, if she pass the flower of her age and need to so acquire, let him do that what he will. He sinneth not, let them marry. Who is that talking about? His virgin, that's talking about a man's daughter. Even New Testament is telling the father's supposed to regulate that. You understand? So now, you said that you're a virgin, which is good, and you say you're a woman of virtue. That's also good. You want to, so if again the things that God value, that the Most High values in a woman, he said, don't play a whore in your father's house. He tell you, reading the Bible, it talks about a virtuous woman. Like I said, you're a treasure if you're a virtuous woman. What is Solomon? Who would know? He had 700 wives, 300 concubines. He said, who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies. See that virtue, that morally upright? You read in the other parts of the Bible where it talks about a woman's character, a meek and a humble spirit. That's what you want. That's what you want. But that's not what's valued by most, but that's what's valued by God. And a righteous man will recognize that. So don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. This is 1 Peter 3:1. It said, likewise, you wives be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting of the hair and of wearing of gold or putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. See, so you want to be about what God is valuing. And see, when you do what the Most High says, you save yourself a lot of heartache and pain. It's a lot of sisters out here and a lot of heartache and pain because they chose incorrectly. Not that there's not men that they can marry, they're choosing incorrectly. They're choosing incorrectly and then crying about the choice. Because you are not, you're looking at things and choosing stupidly. I know that's harsh, but that's the reality. Are you looking at the qualities of the man? Or are you looking at something else? I know it's something else. But now, back to this. You talked about how you haven't been on any dates. You don't need to be on a date. Dating is something we don't even need to be doing. Dating is, it consists of people start dating about 15, 16 years old. Then they start having sex. They go away to school and act a fool and just lay. They ain't even going on dates, just laying with people. Then graduate, have some STI scares, then graduate, right? Or drop out. Then, you mess around, have a baby out of wedlock. And whoever's saying that's not true, when it comes to our people, we 75%, depending on what statistic you look at, of our children born outside of wedlock. So now you got a baby outside of wedlock. Man, this do you understand this? All this really disqualifies you from being a wife? Do you understand that? There's no reason that a man should take a woman who has somebody else's illegitimate children. That actually, when you understand that, and I'm not saying people ain't made mistakes because they didn't know any better, but still understand what you're doing. You were doing things to disqualify yourself. Then you had 2, 3 children, 2 and 3 illegitimate children. It's not the children's fault. But and then you're going to find a guy that had the qualities that you're looking for, because now you know what it means to take care of some kids. Now you know what it means to discipline some kids. And you know one thing for certain, well, all the talk about mama being the mama and daddy, that's BS. You understand that you can't do both. Now you want a man with some quality, and you looking for a sucker to clean up your mess. That's what's going on today. And that's the foolishness that you could have saved yourself from if you would have kept yourself pure, and you would have found a man of high morals who wants a woman like that. It's not rocket science. And then, see, so now what happens is you take all of that. Those are your children, are liabilities. You take all those liabilities for a man to take care of, right? For a man to take care of. And then what else happens? He can't tell the kids anything. He can't tell the kid, you're not my daddy, eating your food, soaking up your air, soaking up your heat in the winter. Wash the dishes. You're not my daddy. My mama didn't tell me to wash the dishes. My mama not here. You can't tell me to wash the dishes. Your name Chuck. Chuck, you can't tell me to wash the dishes. Calling you by your first name, drinking your orange juice, eating your eggs for breakfast, right? Like most kids, tearing up stuff in the house. Yeah, and then the mama don't want you to say anything to the child. That's what you expecting a man to take care of. Why you getting child support from another man? This is foolishness. But you done been with all these men. You are now bringing all that baggage into a new situation. You're bringing all that baggage into. We're gonna read some statistics in a second. You bringing all that baggage into a new situation, and you bringing the programming from Tyrone, from Lenny, from Vince, from Quantavious. You bringing all that programming from them men, those men that you were in relationships with, into your new situation. If you are fortunate enough to get married, now he got to deprogram you, because you operating on a whole nother system. Let me read something to you. And then can't figure out why. You're not supposed to be with all these men. These men genetically staying with you. You ain't, man, I can find this. Give me a second. All right, this is from this article from Institute for Family Studies. Counterintuitive trends and the link between premarital sex and marital stability. See, this is also why, I mean, the Bible, man, the Bible is true through and through. And when you start looking at things and the problems we have as a society and as a people, you see, oh, it's because we're violating God's Torah. It said this research brief shows that the relationship between divorce and the number of sexual partners women have prior to marriage is complex. But then he goes on to say, for women marrying since the start of the new millennium. Now, this is from the data from the National Survey of Family Growth, collected in 2002, 2006, 2010, 2011, 2013. So, marrying since the start of the new millennium, women with 10 or more partners were the most likely to divorce. Then it says women, and it said, but this became true in recent years. Women with 3 to 9 partners were less likely to divorce than women with 2 partners, and women with 0 to 1 partners were the least likely to divorce. Now, since the 2010s, do you realize only 5% of women are virgins when they get married? Only 5%. Now think about that. How that, in the 70s, it was over 43% of women only had 1 partner. 21% had none. Now 5%. Do you realize upon marriage since the 2010s, 18% of women, and again, it's kind of hard to know. Some of you people lie on surveys, but nevertheless, according to the data, 18% of women had 10 plus partners. That's what I'm saying. That's not marriage material. So if you a sister that's saying, hey, I'm trying to be virtuous, I'm trying to serve the true and living God, I'm trying to walk uprightly, and I'm a virgin and I'm young, you need you need to talk to your father if that's available. But if you are my daughter, I would want you to be married, and I would want you to be with an upright, moral man, and I would want you to keep doing what you're doing in the sense of how you walking. Don't settle. My advice to you is keep doing what you're doing. Don't settle. But don't sit there and wait. You 50 in a rocking chair time. I'm still a virgin. No, what you want to do is have some babies in the confines of marriage. That's what you want to do. And so, one thing about it, I always suggest, like I said, pray for that job. You pray for the Lord to intervene. The Lord can make a way. You see that in the Bible. When that servant Abraham's servant was sent to find Rebecca, he said, Lord, make it plain, make it so I know. And immediately, that's what you need to do. But yeah, you ahead of the game. Any man that is wise will see that. And so your stock goes up higher. See, when you really understand that, what you're talking about, that's even, let's say a woman is considered to be extremely attractive or very attractive. That okay. But if she done been around the world and everybody that had it, what good is that? What good is that? You've been passed around like a blunt. What is that? I know I'm speaking bluntly, but this is just what it is. So, sister, you ahead of the game. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay close to the Most High. Stay in His Word. Stay the course. And again, keep doing what you're doing, good sister. And with that, brothers and sisters, I want to say peace to everybody. And you ain't have to take that one off. Let's see. That brother tell me, and I appreciate you, good brother. I don't know how to even get that back up. But yeah, the brother, if that's a brother, that might be a female. I'm not sure, so I don't mean any disrespect. It said 5%. What a shame. The real number is probably lower in reality. That's how I say you can't never necessarily know. You don't necessarily know with data. Y'all good brother. Y'all good. I appreciate you. You quick on the draw. I appreciate you because a lot of times I'm not even reading this. So I appreciate you, good brother, and peace to everybody. So it's my prayer that you were edified.